Hey, $1 Million Agents, it's Sandra again, and welcome to episode 5 of $1 Million Commercial Agent. In this episode, I'm going to go through time management tips to help you really harness your time and get the absolute most out of every single week. Time management is really important, and it sounds boring, and you've probably heard it 1,000 times, but as commercial agents, the good part about being a commercial agent is it's Monday to Friday. And the bad part about being a commercial agent is it's Monday to Friday. So effectively, we only have around 42 hours in a week to meet people, do our inspections, and do our cold calls and follow-up calls. So you have to factor in the travel time with these meetings and inspections as well as, so it does chew into your time. So you want to structure yourself so that travel time isn't wasted. So you're not running around all over town and you're not crossing your path and going to the same places twice in a day or even twice in a week if you can help it, if you get really, really good at this. It's going to make the difference between being a good sales agent and being an absolute superstar agent, because if you treat your time like money, which it is, and you don't want to spend or waste that money or that time, you want to invest it wisely, because that's what we're doing. We're trying to invest our time and get a maximum return on investment. So what are some of the ways we can do this? Okay, so your diary is a critical tool for your everyday business life. Invest in a good, large A4 page diary that has a full page for every single day, because you're going to need it. Now, we all have stuff that we have to do every single day, and you'll have your own routines to stick to, and block that out in your diary for the next month. Make sure it's a month ahead. So when you go to your diary, you're not going to double book anybody. Along with the diary, your electronic calendar, whether it's in your phone or on your computer or they're talking to each other, is really important. You want to make sure that you're putting in all of your meetings, so you're getting pop-up reminders, and you're emailing your clients calendar invitations so that they've got the invites as well as. And it doesn't matter if you're going and seeing a 100 square meter industrial unit or a $30 million shopping center. Send the client an email calendar notification so it's locked in on both sides. That way you're not going to be wasting time with no-shows because they didn't write it down or you forgot. You also want to be blocking out time in your diary for things like paperwork, cold calls, and follow-up calls. So if you're more sprightly in the morning, make that a morning block out. Don't make it in the afternoon when you're feeling a little bit lackluster. You want to be doing it when you're really on your game. Your whole week wants to be driven by the diary and the calendar. Do not use a to-do list. A to-do list never gets done. You probably end up doing about 40% of what's on the to-do list. And usually you'll fill it up with stuff that is easy to do so you can check it off so you feel better about yourself. But it's not productive. So nobody that's super successful ever uses a to-do list. You need to be driven by blocks in your diary. Every Saturday or every Sunday, you want to sit down and have a look at the week ahead and slot in some appointments. If you've got Zoom meetings, make sure that you've sent the invitations out and they're all slotted into your diary. And then what you want to do is you want to have a look at your listings. And if the market's really hot and you know you're getting inquiry through, you want to block out slabs of time in your week that you're going to be in a particular area. So as soon as any inquiry comes through, you can say to the person, I'm going to be at this address at this time on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm going to be there for 2 hours. So can you meet me here at this time? And then that way you're not going to the same address twice or 3 times in a day because somebody wants to see it at 9 o'clock and then somebody else rings up and says they want to see it at 4 o'clock. If you have to bend a little bit, that's understandable, but try and stick to slabs of time where you're going to be in one place. You don't want to be crossing your path by going up and down the highway all day because it just chews so much of your time. And really, we don't have a lot of time. So you have to try and be clever about it. So come Monday morning, your diary should have lots and lots of entries in it already. Don't let the week lead you. Don't let time dictate to you what the week's going to do. You want to be in control of this. So realistically, we only have about 40 contact hours with our clients during the week. That's time to meet them, time to do the inspections, time to do your phone calls. 40 hours. It's a Monday to Friday business. These are business people. They don't want to see you on the weekends. Occasionally that happens because someone's super busy and they can't get to a building during the week. But most of the time, your clients are Monday to Friday. So remember, the important business hours, which I put down as sort of realistically 8:30 till 5, this is when people are going to still answer the phone or still be available to do inspections, is when you want to be doing that contact stuff. You want to be on the road. You want to be phoning people. You want to be doing your cold calls. You want to be doing your follow-up calls in that time frame. So it's really important that you leave most of the other stuff on the outside of those business hours. So that's including your 40 emails a day. That's including your paperwork, your marketing, your designing, your ads, all of that non-contact business. Try and leave it to the outside hours. Now, you're going to have to do some serious hours to make the coin. But if you're getting up at 5 and you'll say you're working till 5, you've done a good 12 hours. So if you're managing your time correctly, you're going to be able to get a lot of stuff done. Just don't waste the time. It's precious. You want to make the most of every minute. So how else can we save time? Well, when you're in the car, don't listen to talkback radio. It rots your brain, literally. I've never heard a decent conversation on it. I just think, wow, these people, how do they get through the week? And no offense to the DJs because they're amusing, but really I'm wondering who's listening to this stuff and if anybody's actually getting anything out of it. And I might be a bit of a cynic, but it just seems to me like a colossal waste of time. Put on a podcast. There's so many available at your fingertips that you can listen to in your car. Or download some motivational speeches, download some sales courses. There is so much material you can download. It's like having a university lecture on call whenever you want it. How lucky are we to live in this era where we can just download information? So if you're in your car for, say, 2 hours over the course of the day because you've had inspections or meetings and you've listened to a podcast that's for 2 hours or some sort of educational material for 2 hours, that's money in the bank. Learning is earning, people. We are so blessed to be living in the age of the podcast. Use all this wonderful knowledge at your fingertips to your advantage. I have a Wi-Fi speaker system in my bathroom so I can listen to podcasts in the shower. That's how much I value my time. I actually get a kick out of squeezing as much out of every single hour as I can without wasting any time. It's almost a challenge to me to make sure I haven't lost any time and that I'm super duper productive. And to do this, you've got to avoid the time killers, the things that are going to gobble up all of your time. Okay, so what is time killer number 1? It's procrastination. Procrastination just chews time and is so unproductive. So you need to work out what your triggers are for your procrastination. It might be putting off the stuff that you don't want to do. It might be continuously going back and checking your emails and your social media. It might be just not getting into the work you need to do in the first place. So once you know what your trigger is, if you're wasting time on social media, you need to turn off all your notifications so that you're not getting pop-ups from Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. These are tools for marketing. Don't waste your time scrolling through because it will chew time. You'll be looking at all your little reels on Facebook or Instagram and you'll look up and you would have lost 8 minutes. So make sure that during your working slabs of time, you're not getting sidetracked because you're getting a pop-up. Turn those notifications off. In fact, you need to turn your notifications off with your emails too if you're focusing on something else. Don't try and be a multitasker. Multitasking doesn't work. You need to be focusing on one thing at a time. Because I'm female and I always say I can do multiple things at once and that's all good. But if you've ever had some multiple screens open and you've been sending an email to somebody and you're on the phone and you're trying to do 2 things at once, one of those things is going to be wrong. So don't do that. You need to tune in to what you're doing. Don't try and multitask to save time because it just will make you incompetent. You might be efficient, and you might be fast, but you don't want to be incompetent in the process. The other way to combat procrastination is to use the MIT rule, most important task first rule. So make sure you're doing those things first. Get them out of the way. They might not be something you enjoy, but if they're important, get them done first. Now, hopefully you will have some goals that you would like to achieve, whether they're big long-term goals or short-term goals. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably that you want to make a lot of money and you want to be successful in commercial real estate. So if that's your goal, you need to be doing lots of deals. And to do those things, you want to be looking at what the most efficient way to use your time to get the deals done. Learn to say no. If somebody wants your time or something needs to take your time away from you, and it's not taking you towards the goal that you want to achieve, it's taking you away from the deal, it's taking you away from the most productive thing you can possibly do, say no. Meetings can be another enemy to time. Unless it's a productive meeting, it's a waste of time. So you're going to have to go to some meetings that you can't get out of. If you work in an office environment, they're going to want to have the sales meetings once a week. But if it's nothing to do with that and you can get out of it and you know it's not productive, say no, or limit the time you have with these meetings. I never make a meeting longer than 45 minutes. Whether it's sitting down with somebody or on a Zoom meeting, it's a 45-minute slab. And that's because 30 minutes is usually not enough and an hour is too long. So try and make sure that you're not letting meetings go on because everybody's talking about other things. Set the meeting criteria, get it done, get to the point, and get on with your day. Quick tip, what is the easiest way to stay on track for your goals? Well, I've got two things I use. One of them is a whiteboard where I have all of my deals written on there. It's the deals that I've done that are under contract. It's the deals I'm working on. It's the names of prospects and what they're looking for. So for instance, there might be a fellow who's looking for 1,000 square meter building to lease in a particular area. Write his name down, put it on the board. So it reminds me every day to look at what I'm working on. The other thing I have is a vision board. Now it's sitting up on a windowsill with all of the things I want on there. And I'm looking at it now and there's actually something on there that I've just ordered for myself that I can take off my vision board. And I'm really proud of myself because they are my goals. And I'm looking at that and that kind of drives me. So when I feel like procrastinating and when I feel like I'm losing momentum, I look at my vision board and I'm like, nope, don't do that. Don't down tools now because there is an end goal here. So keep going, keep working towards those goals. Another quick tip for being super efficient with your time is always carry a notebook with you because somebody will say something or you will think of something, you'll have a brainwave, write it down because we're designed to process information. We're not designed to retain information. As much as some people have really good memory, you'll get back to your desk and you'll be like, what was that thing I was thinking? It was brilliant, but it's gone. So always carry a notebook. It's really important that you have everything that pops up in your mind and you know it's a good idea. Put it in the notebook. Now, as humans, we're designed to work in sprints, not in marathons. So once you've done your MIT task, your most important task first, have a break, get up, walk around, shake it off, have a glass of water, loads of water, people. It's really good for feeding your brain and keeping you on your toes. Don't get dehydrated because you're not productive when you're dehydrated. Having a bit of a break will allow you to reset and close off the last task and get on with the next one. So it's really important to have a break. Don't just keep plowing through because you'll become exhausted. Now, time management is a really personal thing, and we're not really managing time because we can't control time. We're really managing ourselves. But, there's a lot of things you can do for yourself. And it depends how your life is structured. If you've got kids, obviously, you've got to work around their time schedules as well. You can delegate to your partner. Don't go pick up the dry cleaning. Don't go and collect the mail from the PO box. Get somebody else to do that. If you've got somebody in the office you can delegate work to, admin work, contracts, paperwork, delegate that. It'll free up your time to do more things. Also, make sure that when you're working on your diary, you're working on some personal stuff as well. You want to allocate some time for your friends and for fun, because let's face it, this is why we're working so hard, because it's about having a better lifestyle. It's about the bigger picture. It's being your best self. So don't just be a workaholic. It's very easy to fall into the pattern of being a workaholic because it's actually fun. Commercial real estate is a lot of fun and it's easy to want to do it all the time. And I fall prey to that myself. And sometimes I have to be dragged away from my computer by my family. And I think, oh, I'm busy and I'm enjoying it. But you really have to find that balance, or as much balance as you can. What I do, and this is really personal, is I make sure on main events like Christmas, Easter, birthdays, public holidays. Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's a total lie because I work through public holidays. But other main special occasions that I have something on, whether it's my house, mainly my house, I have people come to me and I cater and I look after everybody and we have a big party. And everybody knows that on these events, whether it's Christmas Day or Easter or whatever, there is something on at my place. And people come to me. And that's kind of my way of getting around the fact that during the week, I'm hard to get hold of for my friends and we're not doing a lot of stuff. But that's my kind of makeup for it. The other thing I do for me is I have a dinner service where it delivers the groceries in the perfect quantities, in little packets with the menus, with the recipes. So I don't have to think about making dinner. I make it and my kids help me and they're in training. So hopefully one day they can just grab the recipes and do them themselves. But it is something I'm not thinking about anymore. I don't have to worry about that stuff. We get takeout once or twice a week and we have these menus that everything's portion sized and it's easy to manage. So that's a little personal tip. And I also, you may have seen my video that I organise my vitamins into a weekly pill planner too, and that saves me heaps of time. Might not seem like it, but it actually does because I just tip it out and go. And I'm still looking after myself even though I'm busy. So I've done a little video about this and all of my videos are on my website. If you want to visit that, it's millionagent.live. And yeah, I've done blogs on and video on how to not procrastinate and some tips as well for saving time. I'll also upload a cheat sheet to the website about this episode with a list of all the things I've gone through so you can have a quick look at it. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. How are we going to manage our time? You're going to run from your diary and your calendar. You're not going to let it run you. You're going to block out time for your cold calls, for your inspections. You're going to make sure you're going to the same property at the same time each week and not crossing your own path. You're going to make sure that those crucial 40 contact hours are used for contact and you're not doing things that you need to do outside of those contact hours, like your 40 emails and your marketing and your paperwork. Do those on the outsides of the typical 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 5. You want to make sure that you're learning to say no as well. You don't want to be having meetings for the sake of having a meeting. Make sure that you keep your meetings short and sweet and they're actually productive and they're taking you towards your goals. You want to have a vision board with your goals on them so that you know what you're striving for and why you're doing this and why you're working so hard. And you want to have a whiteboard so that you can keep reminding yourself where you're up to and who you're talking to, and make sure that you're ticking off what you need to do every day and doing the most important tasks first. You want to always carry a notebook so that when you have a brainwave or somebody wants something and you are talking to them, you can write down the notes. Take loads of notes. Nobody is going to think that's strange. They're actually going to think you're super efficient. Have breaks during the day. So don't work yourself to death. Drink water, have a break, walk around, shake it off. Delegate. Delegate where you can. If there's stuff other people can do, if you're a perfectionist and you just don't want to let go of the wheel, just try it. If somebody's doing an 80% job, that's good enough. You've got to get out of your own way. Stop being a perfectionist and get stuff done. Squeeze the most out of every hour. If you're in your car, listen to a podcast, educate yourself, listen to some sales tips, some sales advice. Don't spend time procrastinating. Procrastination, just choose time. Find out what your triggers are. Turn off your notifications. Get off social media. Don't keep checking your email for the sake of it. Make sure you are using your time wisely. Find out your triggers and move around them. Don't multitask. Multitask makes you incompetent. You want to be doing one job well and finishing it and then moving on to the next thing. Don't try and do 2 jobs at once to save time, because this does not work. Big mistake. Don't do it. Finally, go for a bit of balance. Make sure you're locking in time for your friends and family as well, because really this is why we're working so hard, and it's the big picture stuff. So do what I do. I make every special occasion super special, and I look after my friends and family, and I make sure that I'm making up for the times that I'm not available for working so hard, because really this is why I'm doing it. So be a better person, look after everybody else, and it makes it an enjoyable industry to work in and completely worthwhile doing the hard yards. You will reap the benefits. You can trust me on that. So that's about it for episode 5. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope there's a few little nuggets in there. I mean, time management is a personal thing. Delegation for you might include a lot more than just getting a food order delivered. Whatever it might be, it really is something that you're going to have a good hard look at how you spend every hour of your day. And I know I get anxiety if I waste any time in my day, and I get frustrated, and I can't really sit still. I am a workaholic, and I wouldn't recommend it as something that you want to strive for, but do have a good hard look at how you spend your time, and you might be surprised about what you can actually fit into each hour and how much you'll get out of it, and it's totally worth it. So thanks again for listening. I hope you can join me for episode 6. My name's Sandra Carter. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook under Sandra Carter Commercial Agent. Keep selling hard, don't waste any time while you're doing it, and smash that glass ceiling.